It was during the
Mm.
pandemic. So before the pandemic, I was just calling, hey, what's up, Omar? It's Danny. Just wanted to see how your gifts are going and do you need more? Like it was just like that. And it was, I didn't know any better, but now that I think about it, it was so abrupt and rude. And then during the pandemic, it was crazy, right? Obviously, I'm at home, but I was like, gosh, I'm wondering how people are doing. I just made a list of people and I just started calling. Hey, I just wanted to see how you're doing. How's your family? How are you? Do you want to talk? Is there anything I can maybe send you to help out? Or just, I was just trying to be human.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Mr. Deed Podcast Show. Today I'm happy to have a good friend of mine, Danny Guerrido Burrito. He's actually with Cutco. He's been with Cutco now for 27 years. I don't know if you guys know what Cutco is, but Cutco is an amazing knife product, but not only knives, I mean, you guys have cutting boards as well. Do you have any pans, like cooking pans or anything else besides cutting boards and knives?
Actually, Cutco is actually a kitchen company. So we have a full line of cookware,
Oh.
flatware as well, and gadgets.
Oh, something that I just learned. I did not know that.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Yeah. So Danny's actually been in the Cutco Hall of Fame as well, ranking in the top 1% in the company history. So where is the Cutco Hall of Fame?
It's in Olean, New York. That's where the factory is.
Okay. So we go through there and there's a statue of you, like a bronze statue, like in the NFL.
Uh, I wish, I wish. No, but my mug is in the Hall of Fame. When you walk down the corridor, you can see all the photos of all the Hall
Mm.
of Famers from the company. So I am in there.
Love that. Guys, listen, one of the reasons why I actually brought Danny on here is for any real estate agents out there listening, or, and you know what, not only real estate agents, I'm sorry, and anybody in the sales business or in the professional business, entrepreneurs, etc. Danny is really good on building repeat and referral relationships. So I thought it would be amazing to have him on here. Not only one, if you're maybe interested now in the Cutco family of kitchenware, you can reach out to Danny. If you're a real estate agent, you could reach out to Danny. I guess anybody really can reach out to you, right?
Pretty
Mr.
much.
Guerrido? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
guess yeah, anybody.
Anybody who has any interest in keeping relationships.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to have him on here. So you guys can listen to him talk, give you a little bit of secrets and pointers to make sure that you are the name whenever we're thinking about either real estate, kitchenware, toiletry, whatever it is that you do for a living, then that you become that person that they need to call immediately.
Yeah.
And going into this, how did you build a 27-year career as the top 1% at Cutco?
Yeah, it's interesting because I didn't think I would be here that long, to be quite honest. So the story on that is I was a college student at Cal State Northridge. I just finished coaching high school football, and I realized that coaching is super fun. Unfortunately, doesn't pay very well. So my wife, Michelle, was like, "Hey, you need to get a job." And we were in the college newspaper. I went to Cal State Northridge. It was called the Sundial. She saw an ad for, I think it was customer service and sales, and there was a base pay of like $12.25. And I was like, cool. It said sporting and housewares, accessories. And I was like, I'll just focus on sporting. And so I went into the interview. And by the way, I never recommend not dressing up for your interview, but I was a 23-year-old college student, didn't know any better, and didn't have a lot of life experiences. So how I showed up to my interview was a blue sweater, blue jeans, and some Timberlands, the 90s, right? Not the best way to show up to an interview. I don't know why he kept me. Maybe he felt sorry for me. I don't really know. But long story short, I did get the job and I found out that it was knives. I was a little thrown off, but I was impressed with the fact that he cut the rope with the knife and he cut a penny with the scissors. And I was like, these are pretty amazing. But what really caught my attention was there was an opportunity to earn a scholarship, and I didn't really have a big resume at the time. And so I figured working on my communication and talking to people was something I would have to do the rest of my life, right? So
Mm.
I figured, hey, let's just try it out for a week because that was my goal and see what happens. 7 days went by. I did 10 appointments, had 7 orders, and I thought I was the man. I thought I was so good as a sales rep. Little did I know the product really sold itself. And that's really the true meaning of Cutco to me because I didn't have to do a whole lot. I just had to show up and show people. What I did have to become really good at was being proficient at getting referrals and just communicating with people. And so one thing led to the other, and I got into management. I was a rep, then I went back into management, then a representative. And then I found this gifting program in 2000, end of 2005, beginning of '06. And I really loved working with the real estate community, with the mortgage brokers, and then even businesses. And I just haven't looked back ever since and continue to learn and to continue to grow. I continue to surround myself with like-minded people and I'm over 6 million in production and a little over 5,000 clients.
So you get into this interview, and obviously what caught your eye was the sports part of it, right?
Yeah,
So did you ask, but hey, where's the sports come into this at
I
all?
did. The funny part was
What's that?
it was outdoor sporting knives. That was the sports aspect of it. It was a fishing knife. It was a hunting knife. It was Cutco owns, I don't know if you knew this, Omar,
No,
but Cutco owns K-Bar, which is the
I did not know that. I love K-bars.
military combat knives. So we have a full
Oh.
line of K-bar knives. So that was a sports thing. So I was like, wait, what? I was thinking like you. Throw me with the uniforms, with the football, with the baseballs, the tennis rackets, let's go. And I'm like, fillet knives? Sporting knives? Oh, okay. Yeah, it was, yeah, wait, I
So
was
you
way
you
thrown
know
off.
what was going through my head? Was going through my head, okay, I can imagine when you asked that question. They're like, Danny, great question. I need you now to go ahead and go against the wall. And you see these knives here? I'm just gonna throw them all around you.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
there's the sport.
There's a sport. Yeah.
Going
That's
back
cool.
to K-Bar, yeah, I want some K-Bar gift stuff.
I got you.
So, do you guys have K-Bar gift stuff? And I'm being dead serious because I actually have clients and family members that love K-Bar. I did not
Yes.
know Cutco had anything to do with K-Bar and that there was like a gift item for K-Bars.
Yes, so we have that as well. So what's interesting
Hmm.
about that, I have a lot of clients in the Midwest. So I have one client specific in Ohio. He's a realtor and he primarily deals with US vets.
Okay.
And so his closing gift is the Cutco K-bar knife. And then depending what branch they're in, he'll digitize it with either the Army logo, the Marines or Navy or Air Force, and then on the other side is his brand.
Dude, that is so cool.
So it's
You,
really
I can't believe we've known each other for 2 years, maybe
I know.
three, and this is the first time I'm hearing about this product. Because you know what? Because that I would buy other things as
Now I
well.
know what to do.
Yeah. See, so you need to send me the catalog, brother.
I got you.
All right. So that's awesome, man. So what does lifetime value really mean beyond the first transaction, in your opinion?
Yeah, so that's a big topic that I've been wanting to share just with a lot of people. And when you think about the lifetime value of a client, right? It's like retention and keeping them with you forever. Because I think one of the most powerful things is repeat business, referral business, right? That's important. That comes through your clients. And when I think about that, I think about shifting our thinking from like transactions to relationships,
Hmm.
right? Like, how do we take one client, right, into a potential six-figure income opportunity for any business owner, like a realtor, lender, or whatever. And that's mainly through repeat business and referral business. So here's what we know, Omar, and you can do the research on this too. But the old stat was that people moved every 5 to 7 years, right? Now the stat is that people are staying in their home longer and they're typically moving every 11 to 12 years. And so more value has to be placed on a relationship. And so with why is repeat and referral business, why does it matter? Here's another thing I saw and I read that 60 to 70% of top producing agents, businesses come from repeat clients and referrals. And the biggest thing I've heard from them is one is trust matters and two, relationship is key. So let me give you an example of the lifetime value of one client. So let's assume, and I know it varies depending what part of the country you're in, right? But let's assume that you have a home for 500,000, and let's assume the commission rate for the agent is 2.5%. We know when you do the math on that, that's 12,500 bucks. Okay. And let's assume that client moves every 11 years. Okay. So they buy with you today. and then they move two more times over the next 20 to 25 years. So that's three deals, right? If you do the
Mm.
math on that's 37,500 bucks, and that's before you get one referral. Okay, now let's jump into referrals because referrals is key, right? So let's say that one client refers you one person every 5 years. So that's five referrals. And let's say four of those referrals close, that's 50 grand. And let's say you get just two referrals from those four people, right? And from those, you get one more referral each. That's another, if you think of math about, that's another 25 grand. And so you start to do the math on that, it adds up really quickly. And so, you're taking one client and it boom, it's over 100,000. Actually, I think if you do the math, it's like $112,000, something like that. And what I've learned is what I try to teach agents is that you got to be consistent, you got to create trust, and you got to stay connected. And so one client is not just one client, it's not just one commission, it's a term asset, it's a long-term investment. And if you treat them like a relationship, your business is going to compound over time. And so that's what I've been telling a lot of agents, about that. And so then the question is, what do I do? And so what I always talk about with them is having some specific action steps. And one of the things I always hear from agents is, yeah, I just do the deal and then, I'll send an email or I'll send whatever, a postcard or a magazine, and that's fine. But it's really having a more detailed post-closing experience with the clients. And so the goal is to create experiences and moments that make your client feel like loved, valued, remembered, appreciated, and being really thoughtful. And a couple of things that I'll share with you that I always tell people is one, milestones. All right. And what's a milestone? One of the milestones that I think is really important is if you really acknowledge home ownership, right? Hey, by the way, Omar, I don't know if, but here's a gift. I wanted to celebrate your 2-year home anniversary gift. And it's really funny because it throws people off. Wow, I've been here 2 years. I didn't realize that. But that gift is a reminder about like how long they've been living at the house. Or like a growing family. If you knew your client had a baby or whatever, letting them know that and sending them a little like gift for the onesie or whatever. Just
Knife. Send him a
yeah,
knife.
yeah,
They
there
have a
you go.
daughter. You got a
Yeah.
daughter? Here you go,
Yeah.
Dad. Here's a
Yeah.
K-bar.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a K-bar for you. Yeah. Something like that, but just sending something. People, th those moments matter for people. But so my point number one is milestones, right? Recognizing milestones for people. The second thing, and I don't know if you've ever done this yourself, Omar, or not, but like client appreciation events. They're so powerful because what people have shared with me and what I've discovered is that it removes pressure. And so you're not selling, you're hosting. And so this is a great environment where you create an opportunity for connection, loyalty, but just a natural opportunity to for your client to introduce you to their family, their friends, their loved ones that they care about without you ever asking for a referral. And it's funny because I've been to like different client appreciation parties. I went one this summer. It was like a samba. Right? His wife's Brazilian. And it was so cool to just see all these people. And he's running around introducing me to, oh, this is my Cutco guy. And they're like, oh, you're the guy with the knife? Yeah, it was cool. And then but he's working the room, just making sure everybody's fed and drinking. But they invited some of their other family members that he never met. And yeah, I got like about 10 new leads out of it. I was like, dude, that is awesome. And we had a blast eating and drinking. But client appreciation is really a great thing. An old one, number three that I'll share, Omar, that's old school that I love, phone call. Just picking up the phone and making a phone call and just reaching out and connecting with people. And a lot of people are like, yeah, I do that, but it's do you do it with the right intent? And
Mm.
I tell people like, what is your objective? I'm trying to get a referral, or you're just trying to make a connection. So one of the things I do Fridays, like after we're done here, is I just go down my list and I just start calling my clients just to say, hey, I just want to say hello. I just want to see how things are going. I just want to catch up. How's life? How's this, that? I'm not trying to call to sell. And by the way, I will tell you, I was guilty of that prior. I would call when I needed something, and we all know how that feels. Now I just call because hey man, I was just thinking about you. Like I've done that to you. And if you don't answer, guess what I do? I hang up and I send you a video. What's up, Omar? It's Danny. I just was driving. I was thinking about you or whatever. Hope things are good.
That was that last time you sent me.
Oh,
You were in the bathroom. That
yeah,
was weird, man.
I know. You heard the
But,
flush. My bad.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, thinking of me while you're in the bathroom. Interesting. Huh.
But stuff like
Man.
that. We'll try to avoid the bathroom. My bad.
It happens, dude. Hey, at least you were thinking of me. That's really what I got out of it. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, Danny's
there you
thinking
go.
of me. That's very
There you
sweet of
go.
him. No, look at that.
So,
Oh,
but
look,
yeah,
he used wet
old school.
wipes. Nice.
Oh, yeah. But old school phone calls like that, I think are, hey, I'm just thinking about you, just wanted to connect and say hi and things like that. And then the last thing, and I'll wrap up with, is just staying visible. And then I think that's a challenge for all of us, but staying visible through value. And so focusing on things that your clients actually use and benefit from in their lives on a daily basis, practical items for the home. And then that's where I think we at Cutco have a little bit of a niche. And when we can support agents is because we take a product. So here's an example, right? We take a product that people see and use. I don't know if you can see that with the engraving on
Go
it.
back a little bit. Yeah, it was
There you
blurry.
go.
There you go. Right
Yeah.
there.
So it has
Yep.
engraving on it. And so basically this one says sharpest realtor in town, name and number. And that's where we support a lot of agents like yourself and throughout the country because statistically, the number one room used in a house is the kitchen. And the most common item used in the kitchen is a knife. So every time they see it and use it, it creates that top of mind awareness. When family and friends are over, the food is in the kitchen, especially like Super Bowl, right? All our food was right there. So it's a natural conversation starter. It's one of the reasons we have white and red handles, right? So that's another thing that we support agents. And what's interesting about our program, if you look at the statistics, I think there's a stat that said 88% of homeowners said, hey, I would love to use and work with my same realtor again. And that's awesome. We get excited. And I think when realtors hear the fact that, hey, 88% said they were going to use me again, I don't need to put a system in place to stay top of mind. The reality is only 21% actually did use the same agent. So it's obvious you have to put a system in place.
Yep.
And the other thing is that 70% of people forget their agent's name after 1 year. So it's, so what system are you putting in play to make sure that you stay top of mind to increase that repeat business and referrals? That's where we come in and support a lot of realtors and just different businesses across North America. And the cool thing too about Cutco that people don't realize, and you probably know this, Omar, is when you engrave it, it's no longer a gift. It's marketing and advertisement and promotion, and now it's 100% tax deductible. But most people are limited to $25 per gift. But now this is 100%. Here's what I know. You're spending the money. You might as well get the write-off. But yeah, that's what I feel about lifetime value of a client.
You were talking about first let's dive a little bit deeper into about the phone calls because and the when you're touching base because I think that's important. And I tell this to a lot of my agents because no one likes to be sold. People like shopping with friends and hanging out with friends. So, what was that aha moment that clicked in your head when you were like making calls before, but it was more because you were asking for business? And when did you have that aha where you transitioned it to, you know what, I just need to just reach out to them just to check in?
Yeah, it was a pandemic. It was during the
Mm,
pandemic. So before the pandemic, I was just calling, hey, what's up, Omar? It's Danny. Just wanted to see how your gifts are going and do you need more? Like it was just like that. And it was, I didn't know any better, but now that I think about it, it was so abrupt and rude. And then during the pandemic, it was crazy, right? Obviously I'm at home, but I was like, gosh, I'm wondering how people are doing. I just made a list of people and I just started calling. Hey, I just wanted to see how you're doing. How's your family? How are you? Do you want to talk? Is there anything I can maybe send you to help out? Or just, I was just trying to be human.
yeah.
Uh, I wanted someone to do that for me, and I actually had a couple of people do that for me, and it felt really good. But it was really during the pandemic. I was just making phone calls just to say, hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay? And there was some really crazy stories, some sad stories. There were some like some uplifting stories and things like that. And then randomly, I just wanted to say, hey. And what was interesting because I cared, people were like, hey, by the way, this one lady was like, my daughter stuck in her house and her knives suck. Do you have any specials going on right now so I can send her some knives? And I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, because she's stuck at home. She has to cook and she just has shitty knives. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. And I just told her, I'm sorry. He threw me off. But yeah, okay. And I just transitioned to here's what we can. And I
Hmm.
remember getting off the phone like, huh, okay, that was weird. And I just kept making phone calls and just, how you doing, whatever. And then a couple of weeks later, just things started coming in. And then I was reaching out to your community, real estate, realtors, just saying how they were doing because their stuff was face to face, right? And everything was stopped. And then people were like, "Oh no, we're figuring it out." I'm like, "What?" Like we're doing like virtual tours now. We're doing this, and it was this whole thing arrived out of it. And I was like, "Oh wow!" I was like, "This is great." And I got taught some lessons, and they're like, "No, we're doing virtuals now, Danny. We need you to be a speaker on virtual." And I'm like, "Okay." And just because I was reaching out, just things started to come my way, and the business kept moving. It was weird because my intention was I just want to make sure you're okay and make sure you're good. Weird
No,
stuff.
that's awesome. And you know what? And but that's the thing. That's why I wanted you to dive further into it because where people forget is we all want to be we want to be treated hu like a human, right? I think that's the biggest thing. And COVID's definitely changed many things of how we live our lives and what we do now compared to what it used to be like. So it's definitely opened up ways of working that is actually more efficient.
Yeah,
But then too, it also brought out that caring aspect about being human as
yeah,
well, of what they like. So that's why I wanted you to dive in deeper into that, man. So I really appreciated that. All right, I have one more for you, even
yes,
though, to be honest, I didn't have to ask the questions. You already literally went into exactly what I wanted to go into. So yeah, great job. Good job, buddy. Good job. So if you could leave just one deed behind, okay, one action, mindset, or even a lesson to anyone listening, what would that be?
I would say I'm all about relationships, and so I would say time blocking for calls and time blocking to spend time with people. I'm all about love and relationships. So when I came out to Florida, one of my biggest intentions was to spend time with you and Becca. That was really important to me. And I'll tell you, my wife is jealous that she wasn't hanging out with us because I felt it was so fun. And it was really great to see you in your environment and meet. And we had the great bar scene, whatever. And that guy, like, you were like Norm, where everybody knows your name. And I was like, that's so cool. And I never knew that side of you. And I felt blessed and honored and to learn more about your wife and what she does. And that was probably one of the top things so far this year for me was going out to Florida and spending time with you. And I think making time to make phone calls to just connect, not follow up, but just to connect with past clients, just to say hey, and making time for the top people that you want to spend time with that you care about. If you can do that, things are going to come your way and life's going to be good. And at the end of the day, it just feels good.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. Love that. It was definitely great having you back out in Florida and then now having you on the show. I wanted you on the show for a while because of the systems that you have, the relationships that you create, which I think will be great to our listeners, whether it's real estate, industry, or even just life. How about that? Let's call it life, just to reach out to people and touch base with them that, hey, just thinking of you. That is it. That is it. But awesome, man. Awesome. Guys, listen, Danny's contact details are going to be in the show notes. Okay. So make sure that you reach out to him, follow him. He's going to go ahead and also to send me a pamphlet of what else Cutco does because I did not know nothing about K-Bar. Because if I knew about K-Bar, and so every Christmas we buy my father-in-law a case knife. He also likes K-Bars. So you see, man, so I'm glad I had you on the show because now I learned something that I did not know after 3 years of us knowing each other.
That's
But
so cool.
yeah, I know. Look at that. So, guys, thank you so much, Danny. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your love on the show. And, guys, once again, you want to get out to Danny, all his contact details are below. Thank you so much for listening to Mr. D podcast show. Hopefully you found this to where you're going to make some changes in your life after listening
Mhm.
to Danny. Okay? And make sure you also subscribe and keep on following us. Thank you so much, guys. Stay blessed. If this episode helped you understand real estate better, the next one takes it even further, covering everything from investing strategies to honest agent insights. Learn how to make smarter real estate decisions, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out. Click the video on screen to keep watching.